Step forward.
Hello, everyone. I am your co-host, C Diesel, and this is the
Maybach Music.
Then and Now podcast. Thank you guys for tuning in. So with me today, I have my usual co-host, Lelouch V. To the left of me and to the right of me, I have Professor E. King of the Comics, Ethan Murphy. How y'all doing, brothers?
I'm doing good. I'm still trying to react to while we're still running this. I thought that was just a one-time thing for the Friday stream. That was it's a reoccurring one.
It's here to stay.
Got you. Okay.
Just in case you forgot, we also have this.
Shaboing boing.
That's still here too, by the way. We still got that.
How could we ever possibly forget that? How?
You never could. I'm not gonna let you.
Thank you.
You're welcome. Yeah. How about you, Professor E? How you feeling?
I'm okay, man. I'm okay. I'm trying to get something loaded into the show now, and it is not wanting to do it. So, but I'm all right though. I am all right.
Gotcha. We have a fully loaded docket again for you guys today. Before we get into it, really quickly, I want to give a shout out to all the aunties that baked the mac and cheese for Thanksgiving. I also want to shout out to all the guys and women, if you prefer, with full beards out there. Thank you guys for your service. Getting into the actual show, we are going to be going over the main topic of reviewing this past fall's anime. It was a loaded docket, or loaded lineup. I'm sorry, I've got docket on my mind. Loaded lineup of anime. I think we all damn near unanimously enjoyed, except for Ethan and Bleach because he has the hate boner for them. But let's go ahead and get it kicked off. You want to start with the big honcho that I'm pretty sure everybody was the most excited for, being that of the return of Bleach in the 1,000-Year War Blood arc. We'll start with We'll start with Otis. How did you feel about it? I know you were the one that's read the manga further than either of us.
Yeah. Real beards matter.
Yes. Tell them, brother. Tell them.
Yeah. I really enjoyed 1,000-Year Blood arc. I mean, of course, I read the manga a few years ago, so I mean, I was looking forward to seeing some of these things that I had been wanting to talk about become not spoilers anymore. So I mean, that was great. Seeing the animation for some of the scenes, seeing how they fixed a couple of the mishaps with the story in the manga that they didn't do in the anime, I was appreciative of that. And then, like Nick said, man, Kenpachi, both Kenpachis.
Both of them.
Yeah,
Zaraki and my old girl, boy. Hey, but my boy.
Bro, like, how do you pull off? That was a training scene, right? Like, that was a training arc, essentially, right? How do you make a training arc that epic? Like, does that even make sense?
Because they got a real nigga in there. I think Zaraki is a real one. For me, because I know it was just, you know what, Ethan, because I know we forced you to watch a couple episodes when we were in LA. I don't know how much of it you watched before that. Were you interested at all, or have any different thoughts on the show with the revamp versus the original?
So first of all, as I mentioned multiple times, I watched multiple episodes before y'all came out here. We talked about it. Y'all made me watch it, and I talked to you about it after I watched it. Alzheimer's is real. Please get checked out. I am the old dude. I'm saying that. Second of all, we watched at least 3 episodes together of Bleach, and I told y'all then, I thought it was better than the original version. How I watched a whole video essay about somebody comparing that they did not like the original version of the show, but like the reboot, or not the reboot, I guess the new version of the 1,000-Year Blood arc, essentially. So it's definitely better. I get the animation is crisp as hell. It's a lot of fun to watch, but it doesn't have. It's kind of the same thing as eating a Big Mac or some fast food, where to me it just does, the substance just isn't there. I'm not obviously invested in the characters. I don't care about the characters, and everyone knows already here, I'm not the biggest fan of Ichigo. I don't necessarily understand the draw of some of these characters. My favorite character is Chad, and Chad is the most like stoic, bare bones. Like, he doesn't talk that much. He's very straight to the point. So if that's my favorite character in the show of over the top characters, that's to tell you something. But I get the fights are fun. They just don't really grab me. Oftentimes they also have ass pulls in them, where it's like, now I'm gonna do this crazy ass move and it's gonna come out of nowhere and it's gonna look cool, but I have no idea why it's happening. So it's not my jam, but again, I get that it's one of the big 3. I know y'all love it. More power to you.
Boy, ain't no way, boy. Boy, ain't no way, boy.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Understandable. I respect your thoughts on that.
Bullshit. You don't respect me. You don't respect my thoughts on it. You have slammed my
Hey.
thoughts on this for years since the beginning of this show. You
Hey.
respect my thoughts on this. So
I got him on the show. I called you on the show. You were the first
called
thing
me
on the show.
Yeah.
Just
For-
continue to preach, Nick. Continue to preach, my friend.
For me, I got into Bleach a little bit later. And I think I binged it all probably like a year ago. So I'm probably like a newer fan to it. Seeing this, like that's that first episode alone and the update to animation, like Ethan talked about it, it was crispy. Like sometimes I have the benefits of like growing up now while I'm young enough to watch this shit because I feel bad for anybody in the past that didn't live to get to see how animation has progressed to like these heights to where you can have like this is just some of the pinnacles of animation to me. Like the fight scenes were clean, lighting. That's one of the things for me where it's almost like a video game in a sense to where like with video games now where I feels like the lighting is what makes a lot of this shit seem so realistic and so clean to me. Like Ichigo being at night and then still seeing like the light from like the different flames or energies going around. This made it seem epic to me. Standout thing to me was in the beginning they did like the revamp of the Bleach theme with the Black Woman Choir in the background. That was clean too. And even get into the introduction of some of the villains. The villains were dope. I've heard getting down to probably like the biggest moment I think everybody talked about being the release of the Captain Yamamoto's Bankai. I've heard people talk about that for years. And luckily, nobody spoiled it for me. And I'm really glad because me getting to see that and seeing the Cardinal Direction release that he did, and it was badass. That was one of my favorite anime moments to exist. I ain't gonna lie to you.
It's like, bruh, like you didn't even have to do all that. You could have just stayed in one form and just wiped them. You said like, nah, we're gonna take you all around the world with this. Like everywhere.
He just flexed on him and then got cut off. And I was just like, damn, bro. On some Frieza shit, like you just let all that arrogance get you killed in the end. But it is what it is. I enjoyed it thoroughly though. I can't wait to see the continuation, especially them like showing his new Bankai that he got at the last episode, I believe. So I was really kind of pissed because I wanted to see it in action to some extent before you ended the season. But it makes me excited for the next one.
It's coming back in July. It's coming back in July, so we ain't got to wait too long.
Okay.
So before we get too much further into things, as I said, I was trying to upload some stuff. I apologize for that. So we actually are doing the anime roundup. So here's, of course, our intro for that. Apologies.
I dig it.
Yeah.
And Nick, Nick, yeah, that's what I'm really excited to see. I'm excited to see these Quincy, see what they do. Moving on. Do you have any other closing remarks on Bleach? Any of you?
I do. I mean, I get it. It's one of those things where I'm sure if y'all have this in your life too, where there are things that most people or pretty much everyone likes that you just don't dig for whatever reason, or vice versa. There's something that you like that no one else does. That's just what this Bleach is just mine, basically. So I'm not knocking y'all for digging it. I get it. It's just
me with most things. So you're not wrong. You know, people love things like American Horror Story.
Yeah, there's a lot of folks that love American Horror Story. A lot of folks.
That was a random shade to be thrown.
I mean, some seasons are better than others, but yeah, it's
There's probably a lot of people out there that somehow enjoy Cabinet of Curiosities. You know what I'm saying?
Are there? There can't be.
I know there are plenty of people that really like Thor Ragnarok, and you know how me and Charlie both feel about that.
Yeah, I dig. Yeah, so yeah, that y'all are the other end. Yeah, I love. I mean, yeah,
I didn't like it. I don't hate it. I don't hate it as much as Otis, but I didn't like it.
It didn't work for you. It's perfectly fine. And it's one of those things. Like, I mean, again, Bleach. I get the drip. The drip is definitely there. I get that. The animation is on this. The new one is very crispy. So I'm not. It's almost like I'm saying, it's almost in a weird way. My brain is broken.
Wait. You didn't like Jabba's reincarnation, Nick?
Hold the fuck up, Nick. Hold on, Nick. We gotta talk about that.
Like
you'll get into that. I think me and Nick watched it at the same exact time because we saw Chris had a post about it and we both saw that same day, and I think we both binged it. But getting into the ones from this season,
I mean, Rudis is extra, so if that's what got you off of it, I can understand. But it's a pretty good show.
Still a good show. I mean, I haven't read the manga at all. So it's in season 2 now, right? It's in season 2. It just hit season 2. Yeah.
Getting into the next one, this is another one I think we all can agree we all enjoyed this one. We've talked about it in the past. That being the wrap up of Spy Family. This was a really dope season to me. I've said it before. I don't understand why I love it so much because I feel like everything about it I shouldn't, with it being so like sappy and like I don't know. Like I love sappy stuff too, but I feel like I shouldn't like it, but I love it, and I don't know why. It's so amazing to me. I think it's really well balanced. It balances a bunch of different genres really well, and I think this season was pretty dope to me. This time, Ethan.
No, so when it comes to Spy Family, I think I told y'all before back in the day. Felicia and I were digging the manga, and I think Otis, you started reading the manga before the show aired, right?
No, I never read the manga, but I kept it in my queue. But once I knew the anime was coming out, I kind of I waited for it. But go ahead.
Yeah. Okay, yeah. So I read this. This is a while ago, a couple of years ago. The first hit, as far as digitally, it wasn't in shonen. It was a digital manga, and I was digging it then. I was, this is great, and because I love spies, I love like James Bond, that kind of stuff. So it really worked for me, and almost like a Go-Go 13 type of vibe too, in a sense. And so I was really digging it, and I was surprised how well they adapted it for the anime. I think it's really, it's even funnier in a sense, especially subtitled. You can watch it subbed. So it's meant to be much more of an actual like comedy with a family, as opposed to just a hardcore action anime or a noir story. So it's a right balance of all those things. I think this second season was even better because it delved more into the characters. It brought up the idea too of actually kind of how or Twilight was going to be like as far as when this ends, essentially, and him actually enjoying his family now, enjoying having a daughter and a wife, and how much he's going to miss having them around, essentially. It's also, I liked how it opened with a multi episode arc dealing with the bombing at the beginning was different from the last season where it's all episodic. I love they introduced a new dog, which is great for the family too. So it's a whole bunch of great aspects that put on in this particular.
I'm not gonna lie, the bomb part to me was kind of forgettable for me. It was cool, but I liked the later parts. That bomb arc just seemed kind of random for me.
The tennis match.
Yeah,
that was
tennis match, yo.
That was hard.
Yeah,
that was hard.
I'm just watching like, okay, so you went beyond Prince of Tennis because now you got the court working against you and slipped it and shot sliding. It was like, what is going? And they won. They still won the match. But no, the Spy Family this second part of the season was really well done. You got, like I said, you got more character development between Yor and I can't remember Twilight's name. What is his name?
Lloyd.
Yeah. Lloyd and
Lloyd
Forger.
I feel like Anya and Yor got a lot closer this season, and then you got to see the relationship between Yor and the dog, seeing like she reads his mind as he's seeing the future. Spoiler alert! I'm sorry.
That was a good addition. I thought that was really well done to kind of give them a bond like that.
Yeah. It's a fun twist on the whole like sitcom type of family where they actually all are interesting characters in of themselves, and they're all keeping a secret from they're all keeping a secret from one another too. Which is fun.
You guys have any other closing thoughts on this? Or you want to move on to the next one?
It's rare that you see a 4-quadrant anime. Like it has appeal to literally every demographic, and they continue to bring some good content to us. So I'm looking forward to seeing the season 2 whenever that comes around.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. And one thing we did see at LA Comic-Con this year, I think y'all saw it. There was a family dressed up like Spy Family. It was a mom and dad.
That was cute as hell. Moving on to the next one. This is something I think Nick mentioned earlier, and it's one of my favorite anime this season. That being of Mob Psycho 100.
Preach, my brother. Preach. Tell them the truth.
Damn. I'm not gonna get it. I don't want any part of that.
I'm gonna talk about it more in my segment. We're gonna get there.
Oh god. Yeah. Mob Psycho. This season was dope. I will say I feel like this last season kind of had a slow grind to me. Like in comparison to the previous season, I thought it was a little bit slower. I still enjoyed it. I thought the ending was one of those that was satisfying. It came to a close. It didn't drag on for a million times and it didn't get separated into multiple endings. Y'all know what I'm talking about. I ain't gonna say it.
Yeah, we just saw it. Yeah, we just saw what you're talking
about. Yeah, it was dope. I loved it. Did y'all watch it?
Mob? Yes, of course I watched Mob. The Dimple is one of the MVPs of this entire series.
Yes.
Season.
Yeah, series.
I mean, of course, Kageyama. I mean, God, what do I mean, it's just so they found ways to tie up so many things in this one season. Now, I didn't know that you could pack that much resolution up like that. I wish One Piece would learn from this. But I really enjoyed it. I really enjoyed this season of Mob. I didn't think I would. I thought that I was worried that it was going to peak with the early episode with Dimple, fighting them in the tree.
The broccoli, yeah.
But it didn't. Like, oh my god. I'll get back into that.
You're good, Nick. I'm trying to get people to the YouTube anyway. That's just me.
No, he's straight. No, yeah, thanks, Nick. Here we are. This man.
Appreciate
it. I agree. It did seem. I thought it almost seemed like it peaked with last season. And what's funny about this season is how our boy Mob is very much like, I'm trying to become a man of myself. We all love Reagan. Reagan's great, a mentor figure, a character for him. But I do like seeing Mob kind of go on and strike out on his own, do his own thing. I also like to start from a storytelling standpoint that Dimple was introduced as a villain that Mob was fighting, and then he actually later on it comes back. Yeah, I can only grow so much. I'm still my own character essentially. So I like seeing other characters have their own stories and arcs too. It's a lot of fun. Of course, it plays into the end later on. So it was a very well done story in general, and it's like how the writer and creator actually his skills have grown that much more since even doing One Punch Man. So it's a lot of fun. It's a great show.
I will say one of the few things I will critique about the show is with the Dimple thing. I would have wished he stayed dead. I felt like just bringing him back to life kind of took away some of the impact of him being dead. Because I personally felt a lot more when he died. I'm like, damn, he really cared about Buddy and he sacrificed himself. Oh, psych, he's back now. Happy ending. I'm like, okay, I guess. I guess. But it was cool either way. I still enjoyed it.
But that's part for, of course, the NERD. I mean, no one ever really dies, either in comics, manga, anime. And now, real quick, we have to do this. We tried this one time before on the PSN. Reagan versus Mr. Satan or Hercule, what have you. What are y'all's thoughts? I mean, and also sound off in the comments or whatnot. Who do you think is I don't know. Should we say better fighter, better character? How should we put this? Reagan versus Hercule.
We don't want to do fighters because Hercule
not fighting. Yeah, not fighting.
Hercule watching them. Don't get it twisted. Hercule's still
he actually knows how to fight. He actually knows
a world martial arts tournament with regular people.
But who's less of a sham? Does that work?
It's Hercule's the less of a sham because he was actually a fighter and like won a tournament to get like his fame was based off of him doing something beforehand.
Yeah, it's true. He actually did throw hands. He
just had gods pull up the year after.
I do think Reagan is a better character.
Much better character. Yeah.
But in any other category, it's definitely
fair. That's fair. Yeah. So yeah, if it came down to who'd rather get a beer with, who'd rather smoke a blunt with, it'd definitely be Reagan.
I don't know.
I'm probably smoking a blunt with Hercule and Boo. I ain't gonna lie to
you. Boo's there, of course. It's Boo. We all know
Munchies for sure. And we got all the candy, all the food.
Boo can create anything.
I'm definitely spitting him some proposals to try to get some business going because he got money. Like,
that's true. Yeah, Reagan's scraping by. That's true. That's true. Fair enough. I mean, I still love Reagan, man. Reagan just I don't know. I guess the thing is Reagan seems wiser when Reagan's talking to Mob. Actually, Reagan cares more about Mob. Yeah, definitely Hercule has his moments with Boo where he cares about Boo and he cares about Videl, Pan, his granddaughter stuff too. But Reagan just seems like a cooler G than Satan does, in my opinion. But that's me.
Quick intermission for the people watching. If you're watching over on our YouTube channel, please do us a favor and give us that like. We need those. We appreciate those. That helps us out in the algorithm. But moving on to the next one, I've been saving this one for near the end of the list. One of the big ones I think we can all agree that we enjoyed as well, being My Hero Academia. This goes without saying how much heat this was. I am really glad the show is starting to get a little darker. I don't need all my shows to be. I don't need them to be at like a berserk level dark all the time, but I'm glad to introduce some kind of concept to this where it's not just so happy-go-lucky. And we saw that here. And I will say again, me seeing a scan of what Dark Deku looks like in the future. I'm like, I'm here for it. Bring it to me. I need that in my life.
A vigilante Deku is that it's called?
Yeah,
yeah.
We already see him. He ain't crying no more. Deku, he grown now.
He got the mask
grown.
on.
Yeah,
The mask and
He
the
said
scarf.
fuck mask off.
Yeah,
He took it off.
No.
No more crying.
I haven't read the manga. I refuse to read the manga because I want to watch the anime instead. I'm guessing that yellow scarf is what he gets from Shigaraki's mom.
Hold on,
Is
bro. No, I don't know. Yeah, we ain't gonna spoil it though.
Okay.
Don't ask about the future shit. I ain't reading that manga.
Right, fine. Yeah, don't tell us, Otis.
Because that manga reading ahead of time scarred me for another anime we're gonna get into. Otis is waiting to chop it to bits for.
I'm waiting too. I'm waiting too.
But to get into some more, it was dope. I always admire my hero for their ability to add development to so many different characters. Like the fact that I don't think we saw much of Mirako in previous seasons at all. And then she just pops in and they give her so much development to where for a good minute there, she was like a fan favorite for like a good week or two where everybody was posting about her. We saw
lots of cosplays of her. The cosplayers are like crazy. Yeah.
Mm-hmm. So she was dope. It was dope to see her. Miss Midnight was dope as well. Like all the actual heroes that are around that were kind of just around beforehand, they got to do shit. Best Genius was, I ain't gonna lie, when I first seen him and seen the concept of this power, I thought he was so dumb. And then seeing him actually do some shit, I'm like, I'm rocking with Best Genius. He got the
Best Genius. Yeah, he was dope. It was cool seeing Harrison. He went so hard, he pushed his limit so hard, his eyes were bleeding and stuff. I was like, God damn, I know his powers could do that to him, but apparently they could.
He took down a giant mountain.
Yeah,
literally.
Like, that's almost Zoro level feat. It's not fully Zoro level because Zoro sliced the mountain in half. He just tripped it.
Yeah. Well, but I knew it was Best Genius didn't quite get it. Had to get the knockout punch from your boy, number one. But yeah, it was very much to subdue the hell out of him. Yeah. But it was also fun just to see the body count. Like there was a part in that was the last week's episode before, where they showed like the aftermath of the war, like how there were just bodies on both sides. There's so many people dead. That city is like
demolished,
gone. Everyone in that city is just killed. It's like the body count is just over the top. It's insane, and it's great. So
I ain't gonna lie, I didn't know how they were gonna beat Shigaraki with his ability now being so broken that if you touch the thing that he touches and you still die, I'm like, how the fuck do you beat him when he can touch the ground for like miles in radius and still kill you?
Yeah,
but hey, it's dope. It's dope though. I'm ready to see how Deku advances to try to take that on because I don't know how the fuck he does that. That's gonna be sick.
But I like the idea of him being vigilant. I mean, in a sense, it's like he'd have to go darker. He'd have to be vigilante himself in order to kind of. He's gotten pushed to that point. There's nothing.
Yeah. Oh yeah, Nick for sure. Lemillion. Yeah, seeing him come back, I was like,
back.
Yeah, real one's back.
Yeah, I'm so glad.
The real is back. The Vil is back. Flo Banana. Here, peel this back. But he was on it.
Which I'm guessing that's what your boy Otis. What's his name? The guy that can see in the future that passed in the last 2 arcs ago. Not I, right? He saw in the future, so he actually saw Lemillion. So I guess he saw that Lemillion would get his powers back before at some time. He died knowing that, which is kind of how he put him at the end.
Yeah, Lemillion coming back. I mean, Dobby making the reveal finally. I've been waiting for that. That he is Endeavor's son, and broadcasting that out to the world. I can't wait to for them to show the aftermath of that because he shocked the world right there. Like that was an arc where the villains didn't necessarily lose and the heroes didn't completely win. Like they
didn't win. That's an L. What are you talking about? It shows the morgue of all the heroes. That's an L. That's an L.
I mean, that's kind of not fair though, because if you have a thing where a villain, all he has to do to win is pile up bodies where they're not like heroes are innately on defense all the time, so you can't preemptively.
They're reacting.
Yeah, but they attacked that base like
they did.
True.
That was a coordinated attack. It was like, that city is gone.
Yeah, that's the thing too. That's true. Oh. I don't know that city would be gone if it wasn't for the heroes attacking. That city is on them. That's their blood on their hands. So.
Again, quick intermission promotion for the people watching. We're trying to get numbers up on YouTube. If you're watching, we'd appreciate it if you would go over to the YouTube channel that in our podcast. I put the link to the live stream from YouTube into the Facebook chat. So if you would do us a favor, go over there, give us a like, give us a sub. We would highly appreciate it.
See if we can drop in a Trish one too.
Yeah, it's all good. Put it in there. But yeah, going forward into the, you have any closing thoughts on this season or any expectations for the next one?
I'm
For My
personally
Hero?
hyped because it's still. I mean, they actually did a new intro for the show, which means I guess they have a few more episodes back that they're going to show
Yeah,
this
it's not
season, which
done.
is
Yeah.
which is great. I'm feeling it, man. I love that it keeps it's getting, like you said, it's getting darker and darker. It's not getting brighter and happier as even though Deku's getting more powerful, it's still getting, things are getting progressively almost worse. So it's very much that intro is what Otis and I love the most. It's the full blown dystopian timeline type of stuff. So
Dope.
Yeah. I've been waiting to see Bakugo start to turn up more. So I mean, glad to see him starts to get to where he's gonna be at a little further ahead.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, it's just this is one of the categories of anime that, like, when it comes to the fight scenes, at the very least, they do elevate it from what you saw in the manga form. Something we gonna talk about shortly.
oh yes, we are.
Matter of fact, we ain't gotta wait too long. Let's go ahead and switch it up.
Yeah, let's get into it.
Go
Let's
ahead and
get
get into it. I'm gonna let my boy Otis cook. We are going to be talking about the long-awaited, one of the highly anticipated anime of this season, being Chainsaw Man. Oh, go ahead. I'm gonna let you take it away, my boy. Go ahead, do your thing.
All right. So I mean, Chainsaw Man was.
Oh, my bad.
I mean, I
thought he was about to come with more heat. I was like, he was really reserved. I thought he was about to eat this shit alive. Go ahead, though, my man.
No, I mean, because I don't think it's trash. I think it's mid. I think it's mid as fuck. All the hype for this is because of how much of a standout the manga was, right? The manga brought the darkness and the comedy and the tone in a way that the anime just didn't even get close to. This felt like a completely different show, in my personal opinion. I mean, like they showed the scenes, but it just felt like a reenactment. Like it had less personality than the manga. Like, how the fuck do you pull that off? Like, the music selection wasn't there. The voice acting was completely off, in my opinion, both in the sub and the dub. I tried a little bit of that, and I just
wait. Where's the dub? I haven't found the dub anywhere.
Hulu.
Yeah, it's on Hulu.
Where's the Hulu dub? Okay.
I watch that shit, dub.
Yeah. My bad.
There's nothing that stood out about this. Like, the anime form is completely forgettable. Like,
you're not lying.
Like, yeah,
Nick's not wrong. He's not wrong. But go ahead. Finish.
Yeah, finish.
I mean, that kind of really is my point. This feels like a lighter version of Jujutsu Kaisen. Like, the stakes, the way that they set up their story is just like they try to take things from what Juju is going to be, and they just don't get there. But that's going further in the manga. Like, let me get off that. You got me down the rabbit hole, Nick. But yeah, just like I said, they show bits and pieces of what happened in the manga, but the tone of it is completely off. The most artistic thing about this whole thing was the intro, just because they just went and sampled a bunch of American films and melded them into a mashup. Because that intro wasn't even good either. Like, what was that? No,
So for me, this is one of the very few occasions where I myself read the manga before I watched the anime. I think it's the first time I've ever done it, actually.
Actually, you watched the anime first episode, then you read the manga.
No, I read the whole manga before I saw the first episode.
Oh, I thought you guys got it afterwards. Okay.
I read that whole thing, and it didn't live up to me. It was like Otis said. I hate to use the word because I think it's really overused in a lot of occasions, but it was very mid to me. I couldn't say it was terrible, and I can't say it was great either. Like Otis said, one of the bigger issues with that was music. You already know, in any review I do, music to me is like one of the number one things, going right along with sound design. It felt like whenever, I think we were watching it in Ethan's living room, and it was the moment where Katana Man was like fighting on top of that rooftop. And the number one thing y'all remember, the one thing I said was that it felt like this isn't a serious thing, because they had some kind of like light melodic music into it. And I'm like, isn't this supposed to be a serious like moment full of tension? Why is there such like light music going on right now? It felt off. It was like there's the dichotomy between the two was really off to me.
Right. And then the pacing of it was really weird too.
Hold up.
Yeah.
So I respect my brothers to pieces. I will love them to the day they die. And the day I die, which will be first, probably. But they are wrong. Plain old fashioned wrong. I think this show is great. And the thing is, you got to remember with the manga was written a few years back. I read the first arc up until he fought, spoiler alert, up until he fought Katana Man for the second time. And seeing it adapted, you have to understand there are things when you adapt from one medium to the other that just don't transfer as well. For example, the part where Aki's using his nail, they call it nail in the manga. He's actually using the nail to fight against Katana Man. You see the finger flicking the actual nail off the actual page. It's almost like it's kind of bending the fourth wall to do that. They can't quite do that as well as animation. So what they did, they actually just show from almost off screen the same thing. They adapted as best as they possibly could. They even added scenes in there showing Aki sometimes as he was doing things around his house, like doing laundry or whatnot. They showed scenes trying to build up character as much with Himeno. The anime adapted the book that was there. In your mind, you can create a different picture or a different image, what you want to happen with the music, what you may think may happen as far as the action could be much bigger and more robust. But that's not what's actually there. This is the interpretation of what they actually saw. And the action scenes in the manga aren't as big or bombastic as they are in the show. The fight with the Bat Double, for example, much briefer than the fight that's actually in the anime. In the anime, he's going at him for a long time. It's a huger bash of things. If the music doesn't work for you, I get that. If the intro doesn't work for you, I get that. But for me, all these things landed. And I think it's one of those things too where a manga can be one artist's vision put to the fullest extent. With the animated series, you have lots of other artists, lots of other people involved with collaborating, trying to make something come to life. With JJK, with Jujutsu Kaisen, that was my first introduction of it, was actually seeing it on the big screen as the anime. And so if I go back and read the manga now, what I tried doing, it doesn't hold up to it because I saw the anime first. If you look at the manga first of a show, of any kind of anime, you're comparing it to something else. And oftentimes you will be left wanting. For me, it held up. For me, it actually was better than the manga. I actually liked it more, but I get if it doesn't work for some other people. I just think they're wrong.
The issues I had with it didn't have to do at all with the adaptation version. The issue was that it was just a perfect adaptation as far as putting what's on the book on the screen, but improvements weren't given to it. Like for me, I can't say too much about manga again. This is the first one I've read, but with comics in particular, if you're doing an adaptation of a comic and you're doing an animated series or a movie, I expect you to add your own spin and try to improve this thing to some extent. Like I would have said earlier with Bleach, how they had some narrative issues that he didn't like in the manga. They took their own interpretation of it and kind of expounded upon that stuff to make it better. And most of the issues I had with it didn't have to do with the manga and the adaptation of the manga on the screen, because the animation was pretty good. And seeing as somebody that read the book and saw it there, it was perfect. Like as far as a one-to-one comparison, the issues were on the animation and the actual show aspect of it being animated and the things that go along with that. Like I said,
what do you mean by being animated? Was it not animated?
No, it's not the animation, but as
I
far
don't
as
think the animation was good. Personally, I'm just gonna say that.
I think you're wrong. I mean, have you seen the actual artwork in the manga? A lot of those panels are not that crisp. I mean, the actual people look. The artist himself has commented how he says, "I wish I was a better artist," and there are actual quotes of him saying, "I wish I was a better artist." This is them trying to adapt what he drew as best they could.
But they adapted into this weird CG manga fusion, and then it didn't translate well, in my opinion. Like the
CGI can be definitely.
The motion wasn't fluid enough for me, and then
that's fair.
That didn't feel like the Denji I read. I'm just gonna say that, like with anime like Jujutsu Kaisen, I feel like does a great job of capturing the how Itadori feels in the manga. I would say they captured that in the anime. How Sukuna feels in the manga, he feels like that in the anime. Or if you go to something like what's another thing that I've read? My Hero. Like I feel like that is a great adaptation of how they are personified in the manga, translating to there, and then enhance upon that. Not Attack on Titan, because we're not going to go there yet. I'm getting there in my next segment. Demon Slayer, like how they took what is animated. I mean, was drawn in those pages and turned that into episode 18. Like. That was stellar. I was waiting for a moment like that felt epic, and there were moments that they could have done that in, and they didn't. Like the moment in the cafe with Katana Man, it didn't feel grandiose enough for me. It was flat. Like it was just like a side episode. That should have been, in my opinion, they should have built that up to be the season finale, because that is a huge moment that they could have made people stick on. But they put it right there in the middle of the season. Like, that doesn't make sense to me. Like, if you're doing that, like you take away the impact of these characters really like dying. They're not coming back. It's not like, with Dragon Ball Z where they're going to wish them back and it took 2 episodes. These people are gone. Like,
that's fair. That's
I
fair.
feel like you could have built that
I'll
up
give you
better.
that. Yeah, no, that's a fair point. Like you said before, that you said a while ago before, like, I think it was episode 6 or something. Oh, the season finale will blow me away. And I was okay. I wasn't sure what that was going to be, but it turned out the season finale was something else. It was actually past Katana Man, more or less. So that's fair. For me, you're saying that one thing I will have to push back on. You said that this doesn't represent Denji. A lot of the things that you're seeing and hearing are literally verbatim from the manga. That's exactly it. So it's kind of, if it's not captured, it's kind of like, I think what it may be is in your mind's eye, you see him differently than the book was. It's kind of like there's no other way you can really translate or transfer. It's what's there is there.
I agree with that point.
It's kind of, it's the same thing with we've had this debate 1,001 times. Ichigo just doesn't do it for me. I just don't like the character. And it's one of those things where it's with your own preference. He just doesn't work for me as a character. He does work for y'all. It just is what it is. So
your point there is one of the issues I had with it, as far as not like it was a like 1-to-1. Everything that was said in, like, everything that was said in the manga was said in anime. That's not my issue. It's the nuances as far as that goes. It's just like, again, like I said, my opinion is not law. Everybody can have their own different feelings on it. But for someone to where whenever I'm watching something, that's one of the number one things I look for is how does this sound in this music set a tone, especially with this being a very dark series. Like, this is a Berserk type of series where it's very dark. Like, there's like maybe every now and then there's a joke, but usually that joke is like in dark, self-deprecative humor. And the show felt too whimsical to me and a little happy-go-lucky at times. Like that, like even in the scene of like the bathroom thing with like the boob thing, that was really drawn out to me. As far as him like touch the boob and it being a boob pad. Even in the manga, I don't think it was that drawn out as much as it was drawn out in the anime, which I guess you could say is one of the fan service things, I guess, as far as him touching the boob and for the horny dudes. But
so for that scene, I guess one thing is we got to move on. We don't on this one topic forever.
No, we don't. This is our shit. We can do what we want.
But the thing about it is that the manga never read to me as a comedy. It always read to me as a dark story. The manga opens, the first episode is the first part of the manga, which is just, I have nothing. I sold my eyeball and testicle trying to survive. By the way, I'm still buried in debt. The one thing I care most about dies. And all he asks is that I actually be happy. My puppy asks that I be happy. That's a horrible opening start. And it's very, very dark. Not a single joke in it. It's dismal as shit. And it's great. That's just the tone for the entire rest of the story. So if you're trying to say this is more of a happy-go-lucky, I'm like, no, that's not quite happy-go-lucky.
Consistent to me, though, is the problem. Like,
that's not happy-go-lucky. The levity is Power. Power, who's based directly off of Eric Cartman, based off of the actual what I've heard directly from the creator. That's the levity right there. Most other characters aren't trying to be that having fun or telling jokes. And when Power shows up, she pops off the screen, very much being a spark of energy in a way that she's supposed to be. The best thing for me, I know we can say what you want to say about this, but the best thing they actually did capture is Maki. Maki's very dark yet beautiful kind of personality is what I thought the show, the manga, the anime did the best. I think this capturing with the voice artist in the sub, capturing how she looks at you with that bizarre, beautiful yet cryptic stare, it just works for me. It does. So it's a matter of just preference. I can go on and on about how much I like this show and how much it works for me. It's not perfect by any means. But I think as far as translating what was there from that artist, from that mangakin, is about as good as it's going to get.
I agree, Nick. Maki was my favorite. I think he was done the best as well. For me, again, me saying that, I don't think it was bad. I just don't think it was great. Like, I kind of agree with Nick. It was a solid 7 to me. Like, I'm ready to see the second season to see if they can improve upon that stuff with all the critiques they have from the different fans or even their own critiques inside a house. Yeah. But
the fans are very split on this. The fans, y'all aren't alone. The fans are very split on this. Yeah.
So it was solid. It was all right. It was solid. It was a great first attempt at the first season. All to me, again, I'm not that mad at it because all the best parts of the story to me happen even like later in the story. So you have time to progress and try to do things better as time goes on. But sure. Moving on, and I'm trying to think of is there any other big anime this season that you guys want to talk on real quick? Well, I know you guys want to talk about
saving for Otis. So
Yeah.
Blue Lock. Did you have you seen any more?
No,
you haven't seen
not
more
at
Blue
all.
Lock.
Not
We
at all.
can. You want to talk about that, Otis? We can.
Oh yeah, I mean, it's still ongoing, but I mean, Blue Lock is fire. Thank you again to Philip J. Fry over here for putting me onto it because I never even heard of it before. As soon as you told me about it, like it's like you told me like it's comparable to Haikyuu. I was like, okay, I gotta go read it. And as soon as I read it, I was addicted. I flew through that the whole like 200 issues in about a month. So I mean, yeah, and seeing how that was translated over into the animation, like they had that amplification that I wanted from Chainsaw Man, and it just I it's just I don't know how to explain it. It's just a certain it factor, just a way of just taking what is on the screen, enhancing it, maybe with the music, with the color, with the voice acting, because I think that's part of it too. Because like Denji's voice actor was so flat to me, and I thought he should have been more vibrant of a character. I think that's what it was for me. That's good. I'm sorry to get back to Chainsaw
Change
Man.
it,
We're
of course
talking
you
about
are.
Blue Lock, but yeah, back to Blue Lock. I mean, I know what's coming, and I'm still anticipating what's coming next every episode that I watch, and so like the way that they put this show together is really well done, man. I think it's going to be one of the best sports anime of all time.
Mm-hmm.
So yeah, you gonna go next, Charlie?
Yeah, mine's gonna be quick because I only watched a couple episodes. For my introduction, it was dope. This probably the only sports anime that I really enjoyed, and that's me trying Kuroko no Basket. I tried Haikyuu, and I thought this was a really good start. I'm gonna finish it at some point. I've just been bogged down between like at the time when it came out, I was graduating school, moving to a new place, starting a new job, and then editing all the other stuff for different. I had a lot of stuff going on, to say the least. But for my first introduction to watching the first couple episodes, I was really hooked into it. And I think I can count on one hand the amount of actual football games I've watched. And yes, football, not soccer. It's for people that are international. And yeah, but it was dope though. It was really dope.
Exit Time is pretty dope. Exit Time is pretty dope.
Take that, but no ace. That's old school anime as far as like being drawn out really, really, really long.
Mm-hmm. But yeah, you can go ahead and go. That's about all I got to say about it from like my 3-episode intro.
Right on. No, I actually did this. This is something that Otis turned me on to right before the anime dropped because because you said like Nick turned you on to it as well. And I actually dig it too. It's not perfect, but it is a lot of fun, and it's very because I got heavy into sports anime during the pandemic. I watched Haikyuu. I binged all of Hajime no Ippo and Ace of the Diamond, Slam Dunk. Watch all these Korean basketball, all these things, and this is very, very different than all of them. This is very much like it's pretty much the ego at the beginning says, "Fuck all that. This is just you versus everyone else." The end. And going into it that way is like, okay, this is very different. And as you get further into the show, you see very much in the last episode that aired, you see old boy pretty much say, hey, "Yo, man, I came here to stab you in the back. Let's go." So I love the idea that the soccer field or football field becomes very much a battlefield in a real sense. And seeing a character who is almost by self-proclamation an average Joe on some kind trying to hang with a bunch of black mambas is just fun. It's fun. It's very much an inherent like Rocky story uphill battle from day one. And there's inherent stakes that aren't there. I love Haikyuu to pieces, but in a Haikyuu they lose all the time. That's part of the game is not knowing if they're going to win or not. In this, you can't lose. You lose, you're done basically. So it's a lot of fun. I just enjoy Haikyuu. I get the idea too of elevating. I haven't read any of the manga, but the colors, the vibrancy, the actual sound effects. There are times when old boy Isagi will shoot a ball and it sounds like someone fired a shotgun. It's those kinds of effects are what you want to happen with anime. That's why anime is my favorite medium because you actually have all these things you can put into it. So I dig it to pieces.
Those exactly the kind of effects I wanted in Chainsaw Man.
I mean, the chainsaw. You need to stop bashing Chainsaw Man. You need to stop bashing Chainsaw Man. How about this? Where's the character development with freaking Ichigo or Chad or his big titted girlfriend, whatever her name is, butterfly wing girl?
We could do an episode on it. I mean, it's there.
I binged 40 of those episodes, man. I'm done with that show.
Next POI.
Yeah.
Yeah, guys. Do you have any more thoughts on the anime from this season?
Yeah, just that winter season of 2022 was a fantastic way to end the year, man. I mean, if 2022 was anything, it was a good year for content. and they capped it off with that.
Who's your winner for 2022's or who's for I guess the anime season this season? Who would you say, Otis?
For winner, Bleach.
Yeah, Bleach. Okay, who would you say? Otis?
probably
I'm sorry,
My Hero.
Charlie.
It's probably My Hero for me. I think I look forward to watching
Hero.
more My Hero every week than I did Bleach.
Yeah, for me, it's probably gonna be Blue Lock just because it was a surprise. I knew nothing about it at all. So for me, it's gonna be probably Blue Lock. But it was a great season though. Even though I'm not a big Bleach fan, it's definitely better than the original Bleach. So I think it was overall a good season. One thing that kind of hurts my soul though, I know Otis knows this too, is To Your Eternity wasn't as good as the first season.
It's still going.
I know it's still going, but it wasn't as good. It didn't hit. To Your Eternity was like the thing Otis and I talk about all the time, cried about together all the time. And then this season's a very different beast. It's like it doesn't quite work as well. So
yeah, they've completely changed everything about the season. But I'm starting to like it. Like as they get further in and you start to understand exactly what Fushi's journey is. It's still coming around to me. It doesn't hit anywhere near the same strings as that first season.
Yeah, and that's I guess maybe the first season was just so grand. It's not like a Promised Neverland season, Promised Neverland, where it's the first season's great, second season it shouldn't exist. It's not like that. I'm not saying that. I'm not doing it.
All right. Moving on, we're going to be getting into a really controversial series. I know these guys wanted to talk about it really briefly. We'll probably do a full review on it once the series is actually done and complete. We're talking about Velma. Now, before we get into this, I know there has been a lot of really misogynistic and alpha male red pill conversations had about the series. I think like on Rotten Tomatoes, it has like a lower score than Dragon Ball Evolution now. It's finally surpassed it.
That can be positive.
Yeah,
like,
as a lower score. I think that's gassing it. Now, for me personally, I think it's pretty bad. I don't enjoy it at all. I don't think it's Dragon Ball Evolution bad, but I'll let you guys get into it. But for me in particular, I thought it was really. It's honestly as bad as most of the stuff that was it Mindy Singh or Mindy I can't remember. Most of her stuff that I've seen is she has like the very same kind of stuff where the humor is too meta, and I'm not
so meta.
I'm not the guy to talk about the woke stuff when it comes to shows. But when people talk about that, this is the meme for that, where like every other joke is like a reference to some kind of misogyny, to some kind of women's right thing, to some kind of racial thing. And I fit a couple of those demographics that they talked about in the show. And even I was like, bro, again, like we're doing this again. It felt like it was trying really hard to be Rick and Morty and like Harley Quinn, like those type of shows. But
it felt like Harley Quinn. I think like it feels like Velma's voice actor is the same voice actor for Harley. Like she sounds
Mindy.
so similar.
Mindy, isn't it?
Yeah.
I thought it was her.
Yeah, it's two different people, but I know what you're saying. It's kind of going for the same idea.
Yeah, they were trying, and it didn't have the same nuance as far as the writing. Animation was fine. Animations is typical animation you see for a show like that, so I don't have any complaints on that. The story writing, I mean, the mystery is somewhat interesting. I guess it's cool, but in between that, when it comes to like the dialogue and interaction between characters, it was like I was dying. Fred was killing me. Daphne was killing me. Norville was killing me, and I didn't even have any issues when it comes to people like to race swapping. Although I think that should be like a last resort. Your first thing to do is to be trying to develop an original character, and try to do something different than this rehashing and trying to. It felt like they were trying to do as much as they could to make this palatable and interesting to multiple demographics, and they tried really hard to market this really well, and I think it just fell flat on its face. Now again, this is only the first 2 episodes. I will tough it out and watch the rest of the series. If it gets like Cowboy Bebop bad, where I have to just stop it, I will stop it. But I don't think it's that bad yet.
She-Hulk bad.
I don't.
But She-Hulk started off good and
never near got that bad to me. Where
it never got that bad.
Yeah, did you see that last episode?
That last episode was terrible.
I did,
but it wasn't cringy early on. It got cringy at the end.
She-Hulk probably like a 6. This is like a 2 to me. It's like a 2.
So I'll say my stuff.
A great job of trolling it trolled every single expectation that it had, and then got so meta in there, like it was making fun of itself. Like that's what I found funny about it.
Yeah.
But like I won't say that like it's a well put together script. Like
At all.
it's so on the nose all the time, like all the time, like making sure that Black Shaggy is anti-stoner, where we all know that this man is like, come on.
Yeah,
now.
that's his definition of it's a Norville, which I still
This
don't
is
even
probably the best part to me. I enjoyed like his snack thing. I thought like him being saved by the stoners and shit. That was an interesting part to me. That was probably the only part I thought
And
was
this man selling his kidney just to show up. And Velma's kissing death. Like that was hilarious.
Keep in mind though, Dev, your favorite character is simping hard for spoiler. I mean, spoiler alert, I guess these 2 episodes for Velma, who, as Otis said at the end of episode 2, is making out with Daphne. And it feels like this show, like you said, was trolling people. And I know that Scooby-Doo is old as balls. It's older than me, if you can believe that. I was so old that when God said, Big Bang, I said quiet down. But this it still has a massive fan base. People still love Scooby-Doo. People still watch.
I'm one of those people. I had Scooby-Doo bed sheets, lunchboxes. Yeah,
I get that. I mean, everyone gets that. It makes perfect sense. So this show, to troll the fans, to say everything you like about these characters or the show, to hell with y'all. It seems a bit rude. I get that it's trying to be subversive or edgy or even quote unquote woke away, that kind of crap. But it's that's a problem. You have to try to have a good story there. Like we talk about Rick and Morty. Rick and Morty still has fun. It still has interesting stories or interesting characters, and it has a point of some kind. This just seems like it's just trying to troll the fans, trying to troll the lore, and trying to be so subversive at every turn that it's like losing its message.
Because for me, I'm like, who are you aiming the show to? If you're making the show of a series that's so beloved and the main people are going to be watching it are fans, why would you then proceed to do everything to piss off the fans possible? Right. And I don't think the race swapping was part of that. I think it's more so like a lot of the jokes people had for the fans and shit. I'm just like, okay, if you're not making a series for the fans, who are you making it for? And it's really weird. I don't know. That was my question as far. I don't really know what they're who they're trying to pattern the show to at all. Like who's your target audience for this?
So real quick to address what our boy Andres Ponce, aka Nightwing, is saying, that's fair. If you, on some level, if a show is getting this much hate, you have to at least see what it's about, hear what it's about. And I think they probably are trying to spark a conversation. There's no doubt they are trying to do that. So I'll give them points for that. It is different. You're going to have to Charlie, before Otis and I were talking about this like yesterday, I think it was, the day before yesterday, you need to watch this show. And you were saying, I can't imagine why we can get so much hate in only 2 episodes. And we're like, you have to watch it. And so it did its job. It did its job. So you're right there.
Yeah. And again, I'm going to watch the rest of the series before I give it a definitive like critique. Same. And like, Same. I'm only talking about it now because I know y'all wanted to talk about it really bad. I wasn't going to say shit about it until I watched the whole thing. But from these first 2 episodes, I'm like, damn, y'all got to do something better. The jokes didn't land for me at all.
I take it with a grain of salt because WandaVision, those first 2 episodes, I was ready to drop the whole Disney Plus app. But it came around to being average. So yeah.
The ringing endorsement, it came around to being average. Thanks, Coach.
No, we're gonna see. This is a
lot. Landed right there next to Chainsaw Man for me.
Easy friend.
This is a tough one. All
right.
Yeah, you have any other thoughts on it before we move on?
I actually did find Velma relatable. I was kind of that smart aleck kid that was like always thinking I was so smart and pointing out people's flaws and not recognizing my own. So if we are getting to see her journey into learning how to not do that, I can find reference in it. So I'd appreciate the show, but I can understand why people aren't happy about it, because like it is literally intentionally pissing you off. Like, that's why I like it though. So I'm also that kind of person.
And to turn into the Otis for this episode, as far as getting on Warner Brothers, it's really weird that they pushed this out, but then the actual Scooby-Doo animated movie they had for fans, they canceled that. I'm like, damn, you're not even gonna give the fans nothing to work with. Like they can't even watch something they like. That's crazy.
It is ironic. That's pretty ironic.
They said watch Scooby-Doo in the Cyber Chase for the 47,000th time.
Yeah, that's
it's still on HBO Max.
Yeah. No, the last thing I'll say is
different movie though.
The last thing I'll say too is I actually did, when I first started watching it, I actually liked the character of Velma herself. She was somewhat more relatable as far as actually, minority trying to that's seen as a geek, that had a friend which she grew up with that became popular and kind of abandoned her. That's something that I could relate to myself as a blurred, in the 90s. So yeah, I could relate to her. And then as she got going more, oh, she's kind of a more unlikable person herself. But I see what you're saying though.
Yeah, last point again. This to go into a clip. I've watched this TikTok a couple not too long ago. We talked about Aqualad. I'll put it here too. As far as jokes, when majority of your jokes are based around your ethnic background and like an outward appearance, that I'm just like, okay, can we give me more jokes about her? Because every other joke was about her being a woman and being like going through misogyny, her being an someone of an ethnic background. Or I think there was like 4 jokes about Daphne being Asian and being different. I was like, damn, do we need this many jokes about their ethnicity, their gender? I'm like, I get this what you're trying to go for, but give me more jokes about like the characters themselves, which is probably why I enjoyed Norval a little bit more, because most of his jokes had to do with him being his personality traits and like him as a character, not just him being black.
I mean, I feel like all the jokes with Freddie were just completely about him being stupid
or privileged.
And privileged. Like, I feel like that hit pretty well. But I mean, again, I have a different type of humor.
It is what it is.
We have a bit of a big. We had to get a whole episode of this because it's a lot to talk about.
We'll talk about when it's finished. Or if anything else for the clickbait, because damn sure
I'm definitely down to review this when it's done.
Yeah, getting into the segments, I'll let you guys are the ones with segments this week. I'll let Otis take it away. He's the first one up. Go ahead, do your thing, man.
Yeah, so this is the first week of the looking ahead segment. This week, this is a segment where I'm just going to be talking about some of the upcoming content that I'm really excited for in one way or another. Because I mean, I can be excited to bash something, and I'm definitely excited to bash one of these things on my list here. So first one I want to talk about is Mashle. It's an upcoming anime. It's a shonen anime about a kid that's trying to get into this magic school, but he can't use magic. It's basically a fusion of One Punch Man and Harry Potter. And if you have not heard of that, I would definitely recommend looking into it. Yeah, we me and my brother Nick, we be on this.
Oh God.
Yeah. So it's basically like if Rock Lee went to Hogwarts. That is what Mashle is. Sure. And if you have any interest in any of those things, I highly recommend watching that one when it comes out in April.
That's kind of the same. Asta. That's kind of his
deal. A little bit,
but he gets some form of magic at least. Like, Asta gets magic to some extent. It's not the traditional.
I mean, Mashle gets muscle magic. He gets muscle magic.
When I hear muscle magic, I don't think of steroids or HGH.
Watch it. If you can get through that show without laughing, you are not a human being.
I laugh at everything. Okay.
Yeah. The next one I want to talk about is Invincible season 2. Man, that's coming. That's coming out in April. I'm praying that my boy, Invincible gets beat up less this season. Come on, Mark. I believe in you.
He does. Yeah.
I believe in you. Because in the comics, I don't think he gets beats up any less in the comics up until near the end. He gets his ass beat to like the end of the series.
Yeah. He does get stronger, but Seth
Rogen, come on, help my boy Mark not take as many L's. I'm
What's wild is that by the end of the series, Seth Rogen is probably stronger than Invincible by the end of the series.
I believe it because he's genetically engineered to be.
He's a universal cop, international.
People are gonna be real hurt when they see Battle Beast. They about to be real hurt about Battle Beast.
I don't think they're gonna do that to like the 3rd or 4th season though. I don't think they're gonna do that for this one. I think he's just gonna pull up and start hurting some people's feelings or parts of their body, whichever.
And ain't nothing he gonna do gonna fuck me that much. I already know what's coming for him. I already know what's waiting on him. That's what I'm just like. Okay,
yeah,
my bad.
No, I don't think we're gonna see any more of Omni-Man in this next one just yet.
Not yet.
Just
really?
Not for this season.
Not for this season. If they're doing 5 seasons, I don't think he's gonna come. Like they may allude to him or show something that's going on with him off world, but I don't think that we're gonna get him back on Earth just yet. This is me speculating.
Do y'all know how many issues were crammed into the first season?
No, because I think they added parts too that weren't in the original comic and changed some stuff.
They
It was
were
160 comics or something like that, or 155 comics, I think.
Because I don't think Omni-Man's return wasn't too far off from like his first time leaving. So unless they add in a bunch of other shit or take some of the other shit and put it in earlier, he's gonna be back relatively recently. But it's not gonna just be him. He won't be back to stay per se. I'm not gonna spoil stuff. But
yeah, let's not get into spoilers. But
you
you may be right
again relatively soon.
Well, because the one thing too is it was a while in the comics before you actually saw what Omni-Man was doing as far as with that league. It's that Legion of Heroes essentially. So and they split it up all to the first episode. So the pace could be different. So
Legion of Heroes. You talking about the people he killed?
Yeah.
No, that was in the first issue.
No, it was actually where it was revealed that he was the murderer behind it. It was a little bit later.
Yeah.
That's what I'm talking about. Spoiler alert. It's like issue number 10 or 12 or something like that. I can't remember exactly. So the pacing could be a little different.
I'm curious. I'm gonna look up how many issues were in the first season. But keep going. My bad. Keep going.
Yeah, but bottom line, looking forward to that in April. Between that and Mashal, that's going to be a fun time. Seeing similar things happen just in completely different ways. Going into the next one is one that me and E, I'm sure, are both excited for, and that's Jujutsu Kaisen Season 2.
Yes!
That's coming in July of 2023, and it's not going to be any Itadori in there. You're not going to see Fushiguro. You're not going to see...
So there's no Yuji and Todo. Our boys Yuji and Todo aren't going to do that.
This is going to be their equivalent of a filler season. But man, this what you're going to see this season is it's going to be worth the watch. You won't be bored for a second. You get some backstory on essentially everyone.
To be all about the character my homegirl likes to call a man whore.
Sorry, Gojo.
Yeah, because Gojo, we're gonna do a POI about Gojo, about broken characters coming up pretty soon. But so Gojo, I can deal with that. I can deal with not having my boy Yuji and Todo doing their bro code.
Also, quick thing, I looked it up. There were 23 issues covered in that first season.
23.
Okay, so that makes sense. If it's 155-ish comics, yeah.
So, okay. And then going into the next one that doesn't have a release date yet, and I have actually mixed feelings about this one because like I want to be really excited for it, but at the same time knowing some of these changes, less, and that's Solo Leveling. I don't know if you guys have seen that.
Yeah, you know, of course.
Yeah. He's been gushing about this shit for a minute.
Yeah,
him being that guy.
Yeah. I have. I jack off to it every night.
Okay.
And day, Charlie, relax.
But so with the anime adaptation, it's going to be, instead of being in South Korea, it's going to be in Japan.
That's right, which is very controversial.
Like the constant place in this world is going to be like some mystery.
That's right.
Content that they make up. So I'm curious to know why they did that. Back to Nick for this one. It is like you don't understand what's like. So many characters are gonna just like, oh, this is why this. It's gonna connect so many pieces, and then it's gonna set the foundation for what you're going ahead. And I will do a slight spoil. You get some view into what Maki. You know what I'm saying?
Is Kaiju number 9 coming fairly recently?
Kaiju number 8.
Number 8, yeah.
They have announced that they are going to do an anime for that, but they have not announced when the release date for that will be. I think they want to let it build up a little bit more, just because the manga is actually still pretty early. But I mean, it's like Kaiju number 8. Oh man.
It's like what last year came out, I think. Or
the manga just started in 2021, so like, you gotta give a little bit of time.
I heard the concept for it in the post, and I was like, "Damn, this sounds kind of fire."
Yeah, they need more material.
It's Pacific Rim, but better. Yeah.
But my bad. I mean, interrupt. Go ahead, continue.
You're good. So I mean. So yeah, it's not gonna be Sung Jin Woo. There's gonna be some random kid in Japan now.
Here's the thing. I don't even mean to interrupt you, but because it's not a manga, it's actually a manhwa. Manhwa. So the actual when you read the pages, I read it online. It looks like a movie. It's vibrant colors and everything. It pops so much.
Mm-hmm.
So adapting that to an anime, they have that much more of a hill to climb, and then they're already taking the Sun Drip Woo or Sun Young Woo and making a different character. And
Might as well be because
he basically is. That's his nickname.
Yeah.
I thought this nigga what Drip was one time.
It's true. It's everywhere. The drip is inescapable. But I can't. They talking about setting yourself up for disappointment. I feel like solo leveling is stacking themselves up against a wall with what they're doing with the anime.
Making any changes to it is already going to be like shaky against that fan base, and that's a mean fan base. Like there's a lot of people that really enjoy that manhwa. So if you fuck that up, you might have to shut down that studio.
Studio. What studio is doing it? Do you know?
I gotta double check that one, but let me see.
It's not UFO table, but
But sure, I'm excited to check that out. I've heard a lot.
I'll look it up. You can keep.
I've made it a point to avoid anything regarding that series because I've heard so much from not only my own co-host here, but one of the guys that we've had on the show and big inspiration of the show being Donchi. He did a whole like read along with the manual. So I'm like, for this many people that I respect opinions of to be so excited about this thing, I'm like, let me just hold all expectation until the actual anime drops. But
that's fair.
I'm excited. I'm excited to see it.
So like that show is so big that it has already started a new genre within mythos. Like it's a shifting from being majority isekai based to now majority leveling based. Like there's so many leveling manga, anime. Like it is like the solo level. This is the Sword Art Online of this genre now, and I think it's going to be an explosion of going forward. And a lot of them are pretty good. I'm not gonna lie, a lot of them are pretty good. I mean, shows
it's like the equivalent of DBZ. The way DBZ affected,
yeah. So I mean, that's they have a very, very, very hard reputation to live up to. I mean, I hope they can do it. I'm gonna watch it either way.
Yeah,
but you're gonna see what you get. And then the last one that my brother Nick over here mentioned is Attack on Titan. So they're in their final season. They're in the part 3 of their final season that has lasted like 4 years now. I'm exaggerating, but like it might as well have been.
Not much, not that much. No.
Yeah. So I think it's already a problem when there are rumors out that they're already trying to find ways to change their ending because they know how bad the ending was received in the manga. So I'm really curious to know how this is going to turn out and how the fans are going to receive it because I mean, I'm not going to bash Attack on Titan too heavily because like the first season was fantastic. Like I mean, what they did with that, how much attention they garnered with that, they deserve some of the hype. But after that, they have never lived up to it. And the ending that they've already given, they don't want to put that on screen. I can just guarantee that.
You read the ending in the manga? Okay.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
I looked that shit up because I heard it was just really bad. I looked it up. I was like, okay, this is how this ends. Great.
The what's funny, the one thing that the show definitely disregardless, the anime elevates the manga as far as how it looks, the way they adapt the idea of the parkour, kind of parkour with the wire. It looks much better. So I get that.
One thing I wish they would have done with a show like this, almost like Game of Thrones, where you have so many interconnecting like relationships and plot points, for them to have that. Because how long was it between like this beginning of this last season and like the previous one? It was like a couple of years, right?
I believe so.
Because I came back to watch it and did not remember anybody.
Like, because the first season came out in 2012. The second season didn't air until 2016.
Oh my God, that is wild, man. What are you doing?
And between 2016 and now 2023, we are getting the last 3 seasons. Right?
What are we doing?
I watched that shit like 2013 with one of my friends, and I was like, "Oh man, this is fire! It was dope." And then I started back in 2016. I was like, I don't remember shit, and it just kept going. I'm like, is it me? Because there's so many, like I said, relationships, plot points, and things that I just did not remember. I remember the generics and like the main characters, but I couldn't remember shit. Like when characters kill each other or they're mad, I'm like, why did he not like her again? I don't remember. Maybe it's because this nigga Ethan's rubbing off of me. I'm getting old. I don't know, but I need some kind of like I need some kind of like last time on Attack on something like that. Give me something.
Or previously on X-Men,
right. I don't remember shit.
Yeah, and plus they had they changed studios too. The same studio that's doing Chainsaw Man is doing the last few seasons, I think, of Titan. So yeah,
God damn. Okay, so that's interesting. So I will say, just because something's forgettable, should you not watch it? If it's terrible, I get that. If it's forgettable, it means it was cool in the moment. It was what it was. I don't think there's anything wrong with something being mid per se. Like you want to shoot for a higher standard, but being mediocre means okay, you got through it, you didn't hate it, you feel like you didn't waste time watching the thing, but you wished it would have been better. At least from my perspective, that's what mid is.
So that's interesting because I feel like, not to get back to Velma, I promise, but with shows like Velma, shows that are controversial or whatnot, if you are at least pushing the conversation in one direction, you're making a stand. You're saying something. If you're so mid that people, like you said, forget about you, like what's the point? So
yeah, it's just gonna be forgotten about. People hate it and are raging on it now, but it will be forgotten about in like a year. People make jokes about it, but that shit will not be remembered in like a year.
Yeah. Although Dragon Ball Z Evolution, I can't forget that. I try every day.
That's what I'm saying. I don't think Velma's that bad. That's just memeable bad.
I don't either.
Dragon Ball Evolution was so bad. It's a meme to this day. Velma's just like bad, as in it's just not well done.
Right. It's I feel like the two worst things of all time are Avatar, or Last Airbender movie, and Dragon Ball Z Evolution, in my opinion.
Anyways, I'm sorry, you're right, Nick. Nobody cared about Attack on Titan season 2 and season 3. It was like, oh, Levi's doing things, Mikasa's Mikasa-ing. Aaron was honestly really forgettable through those 2 seasons, and then was at the start of season 4. Aaron was like the main topic of conversation because, he was on some shit, and I give it to him. Like
literally,
he came out and body slammed a crowd of people. Like he brought a different level of body slam. Like wrestling didn't do that. Like
what's wild though, this is how good that first season had to be, because me being on a college campus, whenever I would talk to people that weren't even nerds, I'm like, hey, what do you know about anime? It's like Dragon Ball, Naruto, and Attack on Titan was like the third one I always heard from people, from international students on tennis teams to people from the South that weren't into it. People know about Attack on Titan. I see all kinds of merch and shit like that. So I'm like, that first season was just that strong to where it had that much universal appeal and reach.
It had a massive cultural impact. My my foreign exchange student that lived with me for a while from Germany, my little sister Nikki, she came over. She knew about Attack on Titan too.
Neither version of Full Metal, Nick.
Damn. Okay, is that all you got for your segment, Ethan? Not Ethan, Otis.
That is the end of my segment.
All right, Professor E,
yeah,
you're
that's
up.
cool. And we'll definitely have an intro for looking ahead with the OE next time. We didn't I didn't prepare properly. That's my bad, Otis.
No, that was on me for coming up with it like 3 days ago.
All right. So real quick before preamble here, last week, I think it's last weekend, right, Charlie? Last weekend, Charlie and I and our boy, friend of the show, big friend of the show, Sito, aka Nightwing, were playing on PSN, and it came up as far as Space Jam came up, and Charlie mentioned that Space Jam. Charlie's theory was that Space Jam, a majority of the movie took place in the real world. Therefore, it couldn't be considered an isekai. And I was like, well, actually, it pretty much is an isekai, more or less a American isekai, because Michael Jordan is primarily in the Toon world. So we couldn't quite figure out exactly what it was, which either way. And it definitely turns out, of course, that Otis, do you know where it takes place, which world it takes place more in?
Yeah, I know the finals takes place in Toon.
Yeah, Toon.
Yeah, like right after that golf game, Michael Jordan never goes back to the real world until the baseball game at the end. So yeah, it's guy.
Yes, it's a guy.
He literally got snatched into another world.
Yes, that's another world. So that happened. But the thing about it was that sparked a thought in my head was maybe Charlie, in Charlie's mind or in Charlie's world, he actually saw a different version of Space Jam. Maybe Charlie saw a Space Jam where things were backwards, aka maybe Charlie had himself a bit of a Mandela effect. Feel the rhythm. Feel the rhyme. Get on up. It's Mandela time. Yes.
This nigga had
What
a
just happened? Oh my god.
You can't fire me. You don't pay me to be here. Yes. That is my.
Oh my god. Fuck.
Oh shit.
It's y'all's fault.
Oh,
It's
I
y'all's
thought
fault.
it was Batmite in the ship for a second. Oh,
So,
no, what is it? Mr. Pixel? Is that who that was?
Mixie Pitlick.
Yeah.
And then the Batman has a Batman. The same basically.
Yeah.
So real quick.
Rumpelstiltskin. Yeah.
Rumpelstiltskin. So this is the Mandela Effect game sponsored by Cito, aka Nightwing, because he helped me come up with it. And are y'all familiar with the Mandela Effect?
Yes. It's for like the Bernstein Bears, all that shit.
Cool.
Mm-hmm.
All right. So now that y'all familiar with it, we can get into the game. And what this game is going to be this week is I'm going to ask y'all a series of Mandela Effect questions, and you're going to give me some actual hardcore answers for it. So
Okay.
Yeah.
I'm worried,
But no, it'd be fun. It'd be fun. I promise it'd be fun. Okay. Some of these you might already know, some you won't, but that's okay.
Okay.
All right. So the first question: does the Ford logo have a curl in it? Does the Ford logo have a curl in it?
A curl? Like you talking about like near like with the F at the end?
Mm-hmm.
I feel like it does. I feel like I've seen that on my truck.
All right,
no curls. It's just like a plus sign almost. Yeah.
Otis is saying no curl, and Charlie, you're saying yes curl.
Mm-hmm.
All right.
Yeah.
There's a
I figured
curl.
it. Yeah, I see it in my truck every day. I figured.
Yeah, there's a curl.
I
There's a curl.
don't know why I'm thinking. Am I getting confused with the Chevy?
No, you made me think about the F-150 logo that's on the Ford trucks too.
That could be it.
Yeah, it's okay. So that's 1 point for Charlie. Charlie, if you can do me a favor, I have Alzheimer's, and I have Alzheimer's. If you could go ahead and keep track of your own score on some level, because I'm gonna forget the points.
Let's keep a finger up. Yeah.
All right. So question number 2: how many rings are actually in the Target logo? And I mean Target as far as the brand, like the store y'all go to instead of Kmart.
So the rings count. Are we counting like the white circles or the rings or the red circles? Because it's like
let's go red. How many red rings? Red rings, fam. 2.
I'm say 3. I'll say 3.
You say 3. Okay. So now, Charlie, you're saying 2 as in, are you including the bullseye as a ring or
no? I'm not.
Okay, just the ring. Okay, so you're saying the 2 rings, and Otis, you're saying there's 3 rings. Okay. All right. Here we go, fam. Let's dance.
Well,
Wow.
That's crazy.
Yeah.
Wow.
I think the white part threw me off for sure.
Yeah.
I don't know why I was thinking more rings.
It's okay. I mean, I think originally, like way back in the day, like in the 70s or 60s, it may have had 2, but it's in our lifetime.
No.
It's a.
That is part of a thing too. Seeing like how these logos change through generations and shit like that. It's gonna be interesting.
Yeah. No, I feel you. No worries. Okay. So question number, I think that's now y'all got that one, but that's all right. Here's one that we should both get all as kids who grew up watching cartoons while we are breakfast cereal. Tony the Tiger has a black nose. Tony the Tiger has a black nose.
I feel like that changed. I feel like it's blue, right? Isn't it blue now? And then it was black before.
Oh, deceased.
I just know he's great. I've never paid attention to his nose ever.
He doesn't like sugary stuff though, so he's not gonna eat cereal.
True.
I don't think you ate cereal like that growing up, did you?
Yeah, I've never had a cereal.
Yeah, I was killing that shit, boy.
It's fair. I thought you may have seen the commercials.
Yes, I've seen the commercials, but I'm trying to remember. Like, I'm gonna go with black nose.
You say black?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
Yeah, it's blue. Yeah. Eat that shit. Hey, this is for all the kids that grew up in the morning eating cereal before school.
Yeah, I mean, I think it's into Otis's point. Back in the 60s, it was black. It actually was.
Yeah, that shit.
But again, in our lifetime, it hasn't. As old as I am, in my lifetime, it's always been blue.
Cereal connoisseur.
Cereal connoisseur. All right. So this is one that we mentioned before, but I'll go ahead and play it for the sake of the game. Let's go ahead and take your time with this one. Is it Bear-Stein Bears or Bear-Stein Bears?
It's Bernstein.
Yeah, how's that spelled at the end? So it's BERNSTEIN. You're saying STEIN?
Yeah.
I thought it was IEN.
It could be IE. I could be switching them. My bad.
So you're saying
it's not Berenstein. It's Bernstein.
Okay. No.
Wow, that's okay.
Oh,
wild.
Berenstain.
It's
Berenstain Bears. Wow.
Wow.
Yeah, that's a big one. That's a big one. It's always been Berenstain, and that's kind of the OG of OG Mandela effects.
Bernstein Bears. That's
Bernstein.
it's completely changed.
Did y'all watch the animated series on PBS?
Of course, a couple of
No.
them.
The
Yeah,
cartoons? No.
yeah. But still, I mean, it didn't help me remember the name. How to spell the name? I got it wrong too back in the day.
Berenstain, like wow.
Crazy.
Yeah, it's a weird.
Like I remember my grandmother handed me those Bernstein Bears. Like
That's a problem. Our parents said the word Berenstain. They never said Berenstain. They had said it right. Yeah, that's true. I am from the South too. So yeah. All right, number 5, y'all. Number 5. Here we go. You get this lightning round here. Mr. Monopoly has a monocle. Mr. Monopoly, you know him?
Yeah.
He has a monocle. Yes or no?
Yeah, he does now at least on like the modern one I've seen.
Otis East.
I don't remember him having a monocle. I remember I don't remember him having a monocle. I think that's the Planters guy, the peanut.
Okay. You're 100% right. Otis. He does not have a monocle. He never did, and it is the Mr. Peanut that has a monocle with the top hat and the cane.
Keep going. I'm curious. I feel like I've seen a one recently. I'm curious.
This
I gotta double check
it's getting serious. That we
I gotta
start
double
with
check
some light warm ups. Here's where it gets real. These are the real ones, fam. These are the real ones. Okay. The next one up, the Kit Kat bar. You know the Kit Kats. We've all eaten Kit Kats. We of course love our chocolate diabetes. Does that have a hyphen in it or not? That logo.
Kit Kat bar?
No hyphen.
No.
No hyphen? You are both correct. There is no hyphen in the Kit Kat bar, but so many people swear up and down that there is one. But yeah, there isn't one. Okay.
Well, that's not a monocle. That's crazy.
That's there's no monocle there. I mean, maybe they should have put one there. I don't know.
I probably should have had one.
You probably should have.
He's that rich for the top hat. I feel like top hats and monocles kind of go together.
I couldn't agree more. And also, he has a coattails too. It's like, what are you doing, bud? Just a monocle. All right. Here we go. Next question.
He doesn't have a shoulder cape.
Yeah.
Drip the fuck out.
That's drip. That's sun drip woo. All right.
So I got an arm piece in Destiny with a shoulder cape. I'm gonna have to.
Or you start cosplaying as that. All right. In Looney Tunes, fam. Looney Tunes is the Tunes spelled with 2 O's or is it spelled with a U?
With the U.
It's the U, but it should have been the O's. Yeah, but it's definitely the U.
Should have been.
Yes. Yeah. You're both right. It's definitely.
I'm at 4-2, right? You got 2, Otis.
I got 2.
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, there's a couple here y'all both missed. That Berenstain one's gonna haunt y'all. Okay. Next one up. This one's a bit more scholastic. Oscar Mayer. Oscar Mayer. Is it Oscar Mayer with the Meyer or Oscar Mayer M-A?
M-E.
It's definitely E.
Okay, so you're both saying it's definitely E.
Mm-hmm.
All right, and you're both definitely wrong.
Oh wow, it's Mayer.
It's
remember
Mayer?
The song Oscar Mayer Wiener, and they would sell it. They spell it M-A-Y-E-R. And the little, if you go back and watch the commercial with the jingle, they always say,
girl
yeah.
I didn't know they had a fucking jingle. Wow. They sell like sandwich meat.
I remember.
Yeah, she says M-A-Y-E-R. It's sandwich meat and hot dog pieces and whatever it is, animal parts. But yeah, that's
sandwich meat got jingles. That's crazy.
Yeah, man. So here's one that now you should both y'all should. If everything still does have, everyone still has jingles now. Both of y'all should get this one. No ifs, ands, or buts. All right. Pikachu. His tail.
He didn't have the black. He didn't have the black part.
Oh, deceased.
It's the right one.
It's the right one.
It's the right one. Okay. All right. Yeah, you're both right. He never had that black part in his tail. But people swear up and down and left and right. He definitely did. They will try to even.
I thought that
there was an alternate version that another guy with a Pikachu in the show that had the stripe on the tail.
Aha, that's what it is. Okay.
I thought he did until I went to see my little cousins back home, and they're just Pokemon'd out with everything. So I saw Pikachu every fucking where.
Of course. All right. Here's gonna get a little tricky. In the film Star Wars, Episode 5, Empire Strikes Back.
I know what you're about to say. Go ahead, though.
Yes. Okay. Darth Vader, when he's talking to Luke, what does he say? Does he say, "Luke, I am your father"?
No, he says, "I am your father." He didn't say Luke.
Oh, deceased.
Yeah. I'm not even gonna pretend I remember. I don't think he says, "Luke, I am your father." I think that's what everybody just memes it as later on.
Mm-hmm.
But I don't remember exactly what he says.
Well, let's go to the game tape.
He told me you killed him. No. I am your father.
Yeah.
No! Yeah, I've seen that too many times, and plus I've that's like a running thing in the Star Wars community.
Mhm.
That
Yes.
gets me.
Yeah. But what's funny about that is how often it gets misquoted, or even in that movie, the Pixar one, Toy Story 2,
Mhm.
he says he says Buzz, I am. They misquote it all the time.
I wonder where that
And
started from.
Yeah, where did that come from?
I don't know. I feel like people are trying to put in there because they're just quoting the line, so they have to say kind of a reference as far as who's he talking to. Oh, it's Luke. So Luke is the one he's, but it's not.
I feel like it should be that though. I feel like Luke. It should be that. I feel like it adds more
Yeah,
panache.
it does add more panache. I guess in a conversation, if I'm having a conversation with you, Charlie, and you say to me, "No, he told me enough. He told me that you beat up my dog." I wouldn't say Charlie. I just say no. I would just respond to your conversation.
It's like in the South when you say no. Like whenever your mom, like you're in trouble for some shit, is like, no, Otis, get that shit done now.
True.
Like it's a parent thing.
Well, if like you try to like add like extra sting onto it, like no, bitch, like I am.
I want to see that version. I want to see the version where Vader says, "No, bitch, I know daddy." Yeah, that's what I want to see. I want to see that tomorrow.
Some Family Guy shit.
And he has like a forced backhand across his face.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. All right. So here's one
They're
that's
gonna put it
actually
into the Cleveland show.
aka R.I.P. Cleveland show. Y'all know some old school animation. Let's get into Snow White.
Oh god.
Does the evil witch say, "Mirror, mirror on the wall"?
No.
Otis East.
Yeah.
Mm-mm.
Mirror, mirror on the wall. Who's fairest of them all? That's how the thing.
Nope. Magic mirror on the wall.
Game tape.
Magic mirror on the wall. Who is the fairest?
I know. So I hope it's gonna be.
Yeah,
it's Magic
Wow.
Mirror. I knew that one.
But that's a really bad one. That one, there's even a movie and like a series called Mirror, Mirror and all kinds of stuff. But she never actually says Mirror, Mirror. I don't know why or how it came up with Mirror, Mirror, but she never actually says Mirror, Mirror. So.
I only know a lot of these because I had to make a program for this, like using a lot of these in college.
Oh, word. Okay.
Yeah,
okay.
so I feel like I'm kind of cheating, but
I mean,
he cheated last game, so I'm not worried about it.
and in all fairness, Otis did win the last game. He did win
the last game.
So here's the last one. Otis did not cheat though. Otis
didn't get answered when I buzzed in.
Oh, the controversial call, over the Mario tube. Yeah. So here's the thing. Here's the last question, y'all. Now this one is a weird one. Nightwing. Here's the last one. This one is a weird one. In the movie The Matrix, you might already know the answer. Does Morpheus ever say, "What if I told you"?
No,
he does not. And this is one that bothers me the most because I distinctly, my brain remembers him like having the thing in his hand and playing with him saying, "What if I told you?" But he never actually does.
I feel like he did too.
I could have sworn on a stack of hot honeys that he did, but he never does. I actually watched the movie trying to make sure. He never does say, "What if I told you?" I think in a trailer maybe they had him say it over some VO or something like that, but in the movie he never does say, "What if I told you?" So, but anyways, fam, that is the Mandela Effect game. I had to, of course, play it because it was so much fun. We'll revisit this later on.
On my Jordan.
So now the score is 1-1. Otis has 1 win, and Charlie has 1 win.
I mean, that's
next game
too, but it's cool.
Yeah.
I mean, you don't because
I do. It's on film. People will agree. It's on film.
I mean, but that's not what the numbers said at the end. You know, when they review those games where the ref got the call wrong, you know what I'm saying? Like they don't change those scores.
They don't.
They did with that one Houston game where they went back and replayed the last like 23 seconds of the game.
They replayed it though. They had to replay it. Yeah, you replay it. But as far as actual standings, once it's in the books, unless there's a whole bunch of asterisks next to it, the name.
Matter of fact, they did it with a Warrior game too. Remember that after the game got called and they went through and like the ref they mentioned I will talk about it after the fact, but I'm pretty sure I remember that.
Yeah. Please show me when they changed this the win to a loss.
That was when we'll go through that.
All right. So one thing I want to mention real quick too is as we're talking about shows and things we're going into, I'm stepping on Otis's toes here, but tonight is when the Last of Us premieres. Yeah. So
yeah, we'll see how it
I
goes.
was definitely going to mention that before we got out of here because I mean the promos have been like all over everywhere, so they better do it right. As much as Pedro Pascal looks like Joel, don't fuck it up.
Oh god. Did y'all see the reviews from Rotten Tomato? How they gave it like a really high score? I think they gave like a 100%.
No, I did not. I did not see that. I heard it's getting really high. Really high praise. You let that happen. You let it happen.
We're gonna have words. We're gonna have.
He let it happen. I blame him for it. He endorsed this. He actually wanted to be known that he is sponsoring this whole segment, the Mandela Effect game. So
we will have words, Hito. Yeah, I can't say I'm excited. I'm excited, but I'm terrified because this is one of those game franchises that really mean a lot to me. So I hope they do it right. I'm taking the 100% with a grain of salt, but we shall see how good it is.
Yeah, it's the 100% is purely critics. It's not.
I think it's fan review. I'll look it up. Hold on, go ahead. Keep going.
The fans seen it? The fans haven't seen it yet, though, so it couldn't be fans.
Yeah, I think the fans don't see it till tonight at 9.
There's a test audience though.
Oh, does that count as fans?
Yeah, if they're picking to like, well, I don't know. We'll see. Usually it's like creators.
Interesting.
But I mean, I'm watching it tonight. I mean,
like
I said before the show came out last week, I'd say I think it's going to be an 8. I'm waiting for one of my guys to bet against me that it's going to be something else. But
I feel like an 8's
the average audience score is 88. The average tomato, okay, whatever. The audience score is 88 for it, and the other one's a 98 on Rotten Tomatoes.
That's 88 is still really high. 88 is still.
But for me, that's I'll be satisfied if it's an 8. If it's at least an 8, where it's just above average and it's decent, I'll be happy with that. I guess as long as it's not bad.
Yeah.
It's not mediocre.
So do you think it's gonna be bad? Like roll the dice. You know what you're saying? You think it's going?
What's the point? You must have put a wager down.
This is the one series I'm not saying nothing about because if it was anything like this, Assassin's Creed, I'm too in fear to even have like a preemptive thought.
You seen that movie, Assassin's Creed? That was unwatchable.
Yeah, that's one of the reasons why I don't. Was shit like that. I was so excited about that shit. It was so pissed off.
So you're not excited about the Netflix series that they're about to do for Assassin's Creed? Then
that's gonna be interesting because
can't be worse.
I hope they learn. With a series like that, where you get a second chance from something that bombed before, I'm hoping that you learn from mistakes there and you improve upon that.
Cough Resident Evil.
I was gonna say cough Hitman because they did the same. I will say cough. It is a video game franchise for Last of Us, and those, outside of Arcane, which I don't know if that even counts.
Castlevania,
even though it's not really, they did adapt certain things from the games. It's the track record. Yeah, he's right. It's amazing. That's what we're talking about now. So, you're right. It's if a video game adaptation to the big screen or small screen can be good at all, I'm impressed. And they have a better track record with shows than they do with films. So I'm not hopeful, but I'm not dreading it. Put it that way.
I'm confident in this one. I think it's going to be good. I think it's going to be an 8. At the very least, I think it's going to be an 8.
There.
That's my only expectation. Give me an 8, and everything else will be okay for me. Yeah. Oh, another one. I don't know how y'all felt about Detective Pikachu, but I thought that was cool.
I thought it was good too. I forgot that was a game as well, but yeah, that was good. Yeah,
I enjoyed it. But I'm also a Ryan Reynolds fan, so I can't say too much. Oh, Sonic the Hedgehog.
Yeah, I've only seen one. One actually was pretty good.
The first one was good. The second one,
I haven't seen the second one yet.
Oh, I haven't seen the second one yet either.
I saw it in theaters.
First one was good, though.
In theaters.
We did a Heavenly Sword movie? Oh, that was the movie. Okay, never mind.
Oh yeah, there was an anime movie.
I want that. I want that to be a movie so bad. I love that game. I love that game.
That could be a solid live action, honestly.
Yeah, that. Oh my god, that'd be beautiful.
That was the original PS3, like kind of a launch title, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was like my favorite. That was like my first PS3 game I ever played. And it's probably my favorite one.
Yeah, Heavenly Sword. It had any circus in it as a baddie, if I'm not mistaken. Yeah. Okay. So we'll see.
You guys have any other closing remarks before we get up out of here?
I do have one. Feel the rhythm. Feel the rhyme. Get on up. It's Mandela time. He left. They both left, and I don't blame either one of them. I don't regret anything I've done. I am.
No.
Like, why? No.
This nigga.
Worth it. All worth it.
Let's get out of here. Church announcements. We made even more progress on that DBZ documentary. I have showed that to a couple of test people, and I've getting positive reviews around that all around. So I'm excited to get back to work on that. So be looking out for that. It's probably that honest. I think that may be our biggest video that we're going to be doing because we'll see how that goes. That as well. Again, if you are a fan of comic books and you want to look into some more Black independently owned comic books, or even potentially create your own comic book, do us a favor and go over to echelongnovels.com. Our lovely friend Professor E here is the owner of that, and he will help your dreams come true. He did it for me and for Otis. I don't know how much of a dream it was for Otis, but I know for me it was a huge thing. Yeah, you guys, again, if you are looking for some more Black independent created content that you think is amazing, I will suggest go see our guys over at Tapping over the Blurred Approved Entertainment YouTube channels, as well as the Facebook. I promote the YouTube channel. That's kind of where I run things at, as well as Baychan and anything else that's on there. Oh, the pin down as well. So if you guys would do that, we'd appreciate it. And again, Otis, you have anything else or anything?
Yeah, make sure you check out the Blur Lines podcast. It's either Sunday mornings, depending on when the stars align. But yeah, the
Blur
Lines
Line
podcast. Yeah, Blur Line Media. Sorry. But they still have their podcast that they had this Sunday morning. And then also on that Blur Lines Media Network, I have my show Destiny Lauren Moore. Yeah, shout out to the Galactic Tribe who just got a piece of art from Ethan over there at Echelon Comics that we're getting ready to put out into some merchandise.
That's me really good actually.
Yeah. Also, go ahead. My bad.
Good.
Also, my last thing. Shout out to those guys in gym class that were always musty even after the showers. Shout out to those uncles that always had the ashy pack part of the ankle or the Achilles, no matter what they were wearing.
Yeah, shout out to What It Sound Like podcast. It's Thursday to Sunday. I'm just gonna cut that shit off.
Give me a hard time for my Mandela Effect opening.
Yeah. All right, guys. This is your boy co-host C Diesel, Lelouch V, King of the Comics, Ethan Murphy, and this has been the
Maybach music.
In and Out podcast. We'll see you guys next week. Peace.
Him right.
No, you can't.
Brothers, don't make me a liar, bro. Like, I'm trying to rep y'all a piece of property from y'all.